Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly pick a card reading. This week we're going to be breaking down this energy of a major transformation and part of that process having to do with healing from the past. If you haven't been following along, the links to catch up with these cards are below in the description box, as well as how you can reach me for a personal reading. Now we're going to do stack 1, 2, and 3. They are timestamped below. I'm using the Past Life Oracle and the Crow Tarot. Go ahead and fast forward to your reading, and please like, subscribe, definitely comment, because I would love to go into more in depth with you in the comments. So stack 1, you have the Chariot, 3 of Pentacles, Food and Hunger. So far this month we've talked about this major transformation, this death and rebirth that you've gone through. And so we've gone from taking the first small step to sobriety, which is going to be talking about releasing yourself from a commitment or habit. And now the healing from the past that has to happen to move forward. So this does feel a little as though the feeling that has you tied to something that we were talking about last week, a habit or a commitment, a loyalty, an addiction, is going to have to do with scarcity and feeling as though there hasn't been enough, or that you aren't enough, and that there won't be enough. And what it is showing here is that you absolutely have the skills that you need to make sure that you can always provide for yourself, and in order to move forward more confidently through this change, this transition from one way of living into another, to be able to charge through confidently and have all your wheels on the ground and move forward. There's going to need to surrender a belief in scarcity. It's going to have to do with your confidence and knowing that you have skills, you have resources, you have people that you can count on, you have recognition, you have what you need, and this whatever happened before isn't this time, and that you've learned and that you're building something new, and to have that all come together so you can move forward more confidently. Stack 2, you have 5 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and Mother. So it feels as though you're always on guard, always ready for a barb, ready for a jab, ready for there to be more. There's a conflict of egos, of cross agendas, of feeling like every time you get jazzed about something or want to move forward or bring something to the table, there's opposition, there's blockages, there's just always met with some kind of conflict. And this feeling of always being at the ready for there to be this conflict is what has to go. It has to be shed in this death before moving forward. And that is going to require looking back at your relationship with your mother, or it can be a grandmother or a mother figure, you and your daughter. It is something that's going to require some forgiveness, some understanding of where they were coming from, not so that you can change to meet their expectations, but when you can understand them better, you can release yourself from responsibility from it and realize that it doesn't have to do with you, that when people are a certain way, it has everything to do with them and not with you. And if there's this defensiveness because of taking things personally, which when you're talking about a parent-child relationship is very personal. As an adult, though, you can look back at how they came to be how they are and realize that their way of being was formed before you existed. And so this conflict and this way they show up doesn't have to do with you. And if you can see where that came from, you can forgive them, see them for where they are, and not change to meet that, but move forward in spite of it. So now that you've released yourself from responsibility, released yourself from those expectations, it doesn't matter what kind of conflict you're met with, because you have surrendered attachment to this person's opinion, because now you realize that you aren't responsible, and the way they are doesn't have to do with you. So you don't have to be on guard. You can just let them say what they're going to say. And this no longer has to be a conflict that holds you back. It doesn't have to be a blockage in your path. It's just scenery. So Sagittarius stack 2, you have 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups, Father. So when we're talking about healing from the past, this feels as though there have been some ugly words exchanged. It feels as though there was an argument where maybe one or both of you said something that you didn't mean, and some focusing on the emotional pain that may have caused and the loss, and it could be a damage to this relationship that happened to it, whether it's with your father, grandfather, or father figure. You're the father in the situation, but there's a parent-child relationship that's been damaged due to some unkind words. And I'm feeling like in this case, there is the potential to rebuild it and to regrow it and to repair it, but an apology is going to have to be made. That feels pretty clear to me here, Sagittarius. Well, I hope that helps. Please comment. I'd love to talk about it more. Thanks, Sagittarius. Talk to you next week.